Good morning, dear students. Myself Sachin S. Pawar, JSS College Belgaum, and I welcome you to my series of lectures on a new topic, that is Unit 13 Hydrocarbons for PU first year Karnataka students. In this first video of mine on the topic, we will discuss the 5 points which are listed on your screen. We'll first go through the definition. Then we shall go through the role of hydrocarbons in our daily life, then classification of hydrocarbons, structural isomerism in alkanes, and classification of carbon atoms. Okay, with this let us begin our today's session. So, what are hydrocarbons? Now, this topic you have already learnt in brief in your previous years, and you have learnt the unit number 12 in 12, that is organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. There also you have learnt some concepts, like you have learnt the functional groups, you have learnt the nomenclature, you have learnt the classification of organic compounds, and all that thing has to be utilized here also. Okay, so let us begin our today's session. What are hydrocarbons? As you are well aware of it, hydrocarbons is a name is made up of two words, that is hydro and carbon. So hydrocarbons are nothing but the compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen only. They are the compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen only. Some of the examples from the previous unit, that is unit number 12, some basic principles and techniques, I have listed in front of you. Methane, ethane, they come under the class of alkanes. Ethene comes under the class of alkenes. Ethyne comes under the class of alkynes. Then cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane, these are the cyclic substances, cyclic alkanes, so they are cycloalkanes. Then we have cycloalkenes. We have cycloalkenes. Then they are aromatic benzenoid compounds. Aromatic benzenoid compounds. And this is non-benzenoid compounds. All these examples which are cited on your screen, you will see they are made up of only carbon and hydrogen, and that is why they are known as hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbons are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen only. Okay, this is regarding the definition of hydrocarbons. Next is role of hydrocarbons in daily life. Now, when I say daily life, you require a lot of chemicals for our daily life, which are without which our daily life will not be as easy as possible. To take few of those, if I take some examples like fuel, solvents, polymers, drugs, dyes, these are the chemical compounds without which our daily life becomes very difficult. And if you just see the fuels and solvents which we use, they are hydrocarbons. They are hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons can also be used in the manufacture of some important chemicals such as polymers, drugs and dyes. Polymers, just to give an example, say polythene, plastic. Drugs, I can give plenty of examples. One of the example, we'll take it as a paracetamol, which is paracetamol, which is an antipyretic as well as analgesic drug, which brings down the fever, and also it will bring down the paracetamol is the one which is brings down the fever, as well as it will relieve the body pain. And dyes means these are the coloring substances. These are the coloring substances. One example I can give you is indigo dye. Okay, all these are, so if you just take all these polymers, drugs, dyes, they are manufactured out of hydrocarbons. So starting material would be hydrocarbons, and we can prepare these, and without these we cannot survive. Therefore hydrocarbon has a very important role in our daily life, and that is the reason why, considering the application part of hydrocarbon in our daily life, the syllabus has been framed in such a way that you have to learn regarding hydrocarbons, how they are synthesized, how what are their chemical properties, what are their physical properties, some of the important aspects of hydrocarbons we have to learn in this present topic. Okay, before I go on to the next part of the topic, you are also expected to know some of the examples of the fuels which we use. Okay, so let us go on to the fuels. Now when I say fuels, fuels is a chemical substance which is burnt either in some device which will give you some energy in the form of power, that is power generation. Those which are used in your kitchen, for example, they are called as domestic fuel. Power generation, it is the energy required for cooking the food and many other things. And then we have some fuel which is used in automobile. This is mainly the fuel burnt in the automobile engine, which will give us which will help us for transportation. So we have the fuel meant for two purposes. One is for power generation and for transportation. The domestic fuel, when I say, there are plenty of examples, but the examples which are cited in your syllabus, that I will mention. In olden days we used to use kerosene as a domestic fuel. So kerosene was used to be the domestic fuel. However, kerosene is, when it is burnt, it will give you the carbon particles, and those carbon particles are responsible for pollution, and that is why the kerosene is replaced. And the kerosene is replaced by one of the fuel which is oftenly used in households, that is LPG. LPG, when I say, it is liquefied petroleum gas. It is the gas obtained by liquefying the petroleum gas available from the petroleum mines. It is, again, if you just take these domestic fuels are nothing but hydrocarbons only. Okay, some automobile fuels, if you want to say, then we have what is known as CNG, we have LNG, we have coal gas, we have petrol, we have diesel. These are all automobile fuels. CNG, CNG stands for compressed natural gas. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas. Coal gas is nothing but a gas obtained by destructive distillation of coal. The coal is available from the coal mines. It is destructive distilled and will get some kind of a gas, that is again a very good fuel known to be as coal gas. Then we have petrol, diesel. Among this CNG and LNG, they are natural gases. And you know what is natural gas? Natural gas is nothing but a gas which is obtained from oil wells. On the surface of the oil, we have one kind of a gas that is known as natural gas. We have one gas that is known as natural gas. It is obtained from oil wells, and usually it is a methane gas. This natural gas, if you compress, it becomes compressed natural gas, and if you liquefy, it becomes liquid nitrogen gas. And as we are well aware, if you just consider the domestic fuel, automobile fuel with reference to the pollution, less pollution, then you will see CNG, LNG and petrol. These three are the automobile fuels which are less polluting fuels nowadays used. So this is about the role of hydrocarbons in our daily life. Next is classification of hydrocarbons. Now the classification you have already learned in unit number 12, organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. Here we will use that classification which you have learned for only hydrocarbons. So when I say hydrocarbons, hydrocarbons are basically classified into three main types. We have saturated hydrocarbons, unsaturated hydrocarbons and aromatic hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons are those which are having at least they are having only carbon-carbon single bonds, as you have learned already. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are those which have either carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond along with carbon-carbon single bonds. Of course, we have either carbon-carbon double bonds or carbon-carbon triple bond. Aromatic compounds are those which are aromatic. They may contain benzene or they may not contain benzene. Let's see a few examples, we'll understand. Okay, so this is three classification of hydrocarbons: saturated, unsaturated, aromatic. Now when I say saturated hydrocarbons are basically of two kinds. They are basically of two kinds. Either they are open chain hydrocarbons, also known as aliphatic, or they are closed chain hydrocarbons, they are also known as cyclic. Now under saturated we have basically two types. One is alkane. Alkanes are open chain saturated hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bonds. Alkanes are the open chain hydrocarbons or aliphatic saturated hydrocarbons, that is aliphatic compounds containing carbon-carbon single bonds. And to give an example, we have methane, ethane, propane and so on. I can give plenty of examples. So they are coming under the class of alkanes, and their general formula, you know it as CnH2n plus 2, that you have learnt in the previous unit, and also you have learned that in 10th standard. Next, cycloalkanes. Cycloalkanes, they are the cyclic saturated hydrocarbons, that is cyclic hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bonds only. They are cyclic alkanes. They are cyclic alkanes. They are closed chain saturated hydrocarbons, closed chain compounds which are containing only carbon-carbon single bonds. And they are, just to give an example, say I'll take cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane, cyclohexane, the one which you have learnt in your lower in the previous topic, etc. I can give plenty of examples. Okay, the next one are unsaturated hydrocarbons. So when I say unsaturated hydrocarbons, they are basically of two kinds. Either they are open chain hydrocarbons or they are cyclic hydrocarbons. Under open chain hydrocarbons we have basically two kinds. One are alkenes and alkynes. Alkenes are the open chain hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon double bond. The alkenes are the open chain hydrocarbons which are unsaturated, containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. To give an example, just take ethene, propene, etc. They are the alkanes which contain at least one double bond, and they are open chain unsaturated hydrocarbons. Alkenes are open chain unsaturated hydrocarbons, or they are the alkanes. Alkenes are the open chain hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon double bond. They are alkenes. Alkynes are again, they are the open chain hydrocarbons, the hydrocarbons which contain the open chain of carbon atoms, but they should contain at least one triple bond. They should contain at least one triple bond. Then they are known as alkynes. They are known as alkynes. So alkynes are the aliphatic unsaturated hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon triple bond. So just to give few examples, you can say ethyne, propyne, etc. Just like cycloalkanes, we have cycloalkenes. Cycloalkenes are cyclic. Cycloalkenes are cyclic unsaturated hydrocarbons, and the suffix as it tells, they are the compounds containing carbon-carbon double bond, at least one carbon-carbon double bond. So cyclic unsaturated hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond are known as cycloalkanes. Just to give example, you can take, this is cyclopropane. If you just make one double bond, this becomes cyclopropene. Then cyclobutene, a double bond is there, a triple double bond, cyclobutene. Then if I just take cyclopentene, then cyclohexene, etc. These are the examples of cycloalkenes. Lastly, aromatic hydrocarbons. Aromatic hydrocarbons are basically of two kinds. Either they are benzenoid or they are non-benzenoid. Benzenoid are those which contain benzene ring. Examples I can quote as benzene, toluene, naphthalene, etc. They are the compounds which contain benzene ring, benzenoid compounds. So aromatic compounds are those which have got a typical smell that is known as aroma, that you have learnt in your 10th standard, and benzenoid compounds are those compounds which contain benzene ring. Non-benzenoid compounds are those which do not contain benzene ring and they are aromatic. Just to give an example, I can take azulenes. They are the aromatic hydrocarbons. The example structure I have just given in the previous part of the of my same slide. Okay, so this is the complete classification of hydrocarbons. Alkanes, aliphatic saturated hydrocarbons or aliphatic hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bond. Cycloalkanes, cyclic aliphatic hydrocarbons or cyclic alkanes, cyclic saturated hydrocarbons containing carbon-carbon single bond. Alkenes, open chain or aliphatic unsaturated hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. Alkynes, aliphatic unsaturated hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon triple bond. Cycloalkenes, A is missing there, I am sorry. Cycloalkenes are the cyclic unsaturated hydrocarbons containing at least one carbon-carbon double bond. Then we have aromatic hydrocarbons, benzenoids and non-benzenoids. Actually, aromatic hydrocarbons, the actual definition is obtained or given in terms of a rule known as Huckel's rule. The hydrocarbons which satisfy this rule are known to be aromatic hydrocarbons. Those which satisfy this rule. What is this rule and how to make that to apply to the organic compounds, that we shall see in the last part of the same topic. This is regarding the classification of hydrocarbons. Next, we shall go to the structural isomerism in alkanes. Now, when I say structural isomerism, you are well aware of it because you have learned this isomerism, structural isomerism in the previous unit, that is unit number 12, organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. And here I am just going to give you the brief idea because the details we have learned already in the previous unit. Structural isomers, as you know, they are the compounds which have got same molecular formula and they have different structural formula. The compounds which have same molecular formula and different structural formula are known as structural isomers, and the phenomenon is known as structural isomerism that you have already learnt. Under this structural formula, you may have a different structure, you may have different chains, so they become chain isomers. They may have different chains of carbon atoms, they may have different position of functional groups, position isomers. They may have different functional groups, so for functional isomers. They may have different functional groups in a different arrangement, that is metamers. So you have already learnt about those, that is structural isomers known to be as chain or position or functional and last one are tautomers. This you have learnt already in unit number 12. In details you have learnt about it. In unit number 12 you have learnt about it. As far as hydrocarbon, as far as alkane is concerned, you have only chain isomers, and the number of structural isomers have been well identified by scientists. We have 10 first three, that is methane, formula is CH4, ethane, formula is C2H6, and propane, formula is C3H8. They do not show structural isomerism. And the others after that, that is butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonane, decane, respectively containing 4 carbon atoms, 5 carbon atoms, 6 carbon atoms, 7 carbon atoms, and so on. They contain exact number of structural isomers, and that are 2, 3, 5, 9, 19, 35, 75 respectively. So for example, butane will have 2 structural isomers. They will have same molecular formula, but there can be 2 structural forms possible for butane, Pentane has 3 structural forms, hexane has 5 structural forms, heptane has 9 structural forms, and so on and so on. The highest is in the series, the decane is the highest, which is having 75 structural formulas, and that is the structural isomerism in alkanes. Just to understand, I'm just giving you 2 examples, that is the chain isomerism in butane and chain isomerism in pentane. We shall see that. We shall see chain isomerism in butane and chain isomerism in pentane. Chain isomerism in butane, as you are well aware of it, but means 4, so number of carbon atoms is 4 here, so C4. Butane, ane means alkane, general formula is CnH2n plus 2, and therefore hydrogen atoms would be 4 into 2, that is 8, plus 2, that is 8. This is the molecular formula of butane. Similarly, pentane, when I say pent, it is 5, so there are 5 carbon atoms, and ane means alkane, as you have learnt in nomenclature in unit number 12. General formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2, so it is C5, 5 into 2, 10, plus 2, that is H10. So we have butane with molecular formula C4H8 and a pentane with molecular formula C5H10. Now here we can write the chain isomers out of it. See, I have 4 carbon atoms in butane, so the first possibility would be all the 4 carbon atoms are in a continuous chain. Second possibility would be out of 4 carbon atoms, 1 carbon atom, 3 carbon atoms may be in one chain, and the second carbon atom may be a branch on second carbon atom. The last carbon atom may be, the 4th carbon atom may be the branch on the second last carbon atom of the chain. So this is the possibility. So chain. And now to satisfy the tetravalency of the carbon atom, we have to add hydrogens. So just see here, we have 1 bond, so it needs 3 hydrogens. There are 2 this carbon has formed 2 bonds, therefore we require 2 hydrogens. This carbon has formed 2 bonds, so we require 2 hydrogens. This carbon has formed 1 bond, so we require 3 hydrogens. So this is butane with 4 carbon atoms in a continuous chain, and as you already know, this is referred to as N or normal butane. Why the word N? The word N or the prefix N stands for normal, that is all the carbon atoms of the hydrocarbon are in the continuous chain, that you have learnt in your previous unit. Next, this. So here again see carbon, the first carbon has formed 1 bond, therefore we require here 3 hydrogens. Here this second carbon has formed 3 bonds, means you require only 1 hydrogen. This carbon has formed 1 bond, means it requires 3 hydrogen. This carbon also requires 3 hydrogen, and here you see this is known as isobutane. Reason for using the word iso is that the second last carbon atom has got a methyl group attached to it. This is the second last carbon atom of the chain, which is attached to methyl group, therefore we can use the word iso for this. Okay, the next one. So these are the chain isomers of butane. Let's go to the next now, chain isomers of pentane. Okay, now when I say chain isomers of pentane, you know 5 carbons are there. So what are the best possibilities? You see, we have all 5 carbon atoms possible in one chain, then I will call it as N-pentane. One more possibility is that 4 carbon atoms may be in one chain and the 5th carbon atom may be on the second last carbon. That is the only possibility. Either this is second or this is second. You know the nomenclature, numbering can be done from any end. This is one possibility. And one more possibility is that we may have a chain of 3 carbon atoms, and the carbon atoms may be the remaining two carbon atoms may form a chain, a side chain on the second last carbon atom. Here one side chain on the second last carbon atom. Here two side chains on the second last carbon atom. One side chain on second last carbon atom is known as isopentane. Two side chains, it is known as neopentane. Neopentane. Okay. Let us satisfy the number of hydrogens here. We have one bond with this carbon, so this is CH3. Two bonds means this is CH2. Two bonds means this is CH2. Two bonds means this is CH2. One bond means this is CH3. This is N-pentane. Isopentane, here one carbon bond is there, means I require 3 valency. Tetravalency of carbon atom I am satisfying of carbon. So here you require 1 hydrogen, here we require 3 hydrogens, here we require 2 hydrogens, here we require 3 hydrogens. So this is isopentane, and then here we require 3 hydrogens. Here we don't require hydrogen because tetravalence is already satisfied. 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens. Okay, so this is about N-pentane, isopentane and neopentane. Before I switch over to the next part, these iso word can also be replaced by secondary. N can be replaced by primary, and neo can be replaced by tertiary. The reason for that is, here we have primary carbon atoms in the compound, therefore it is primary pentane. Here we have one secondary carbon atom, and therefore we can use it as secondary pentane. And here we have one tertiary carbon atom, and therefore we can use the word tertiary pentane. So here before we go to assign these primary, secondary and tertiary names to that compound, you should know what do you mean by primary carbon atom, secondary carbon atom, tertiary carbon atoms and so on. It is basically the type of the carbon atom which is responsible for this prefixes tertiary and secondary. So we have to learn what is the primary carbon atom, the types of carbon atoms. So that we shall see, and then we shall stop today's class. So let us move on to the next part, that is the classification of carbon atoms. Classification of carbon atoms. Okay, now when I go for classification of carbon atoms, okay, classification of carbon atoms. Basically carbon atoms are of 4 types. We have primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. If I ask you how, if you ask me how to identify that, a very simple thing is that in a structure you have to find out the carbon atoms. We have to first find out the carbon atoms. If those carbon atoms are attached to 4 hydrogens, simplest example is methane, that is only one example, or the carbon atom which is attached to 3 hydrogens, then it will have one more bond. Then this carbon atom should be supposed to be called as primary carbon. Secondary carbon is the one where it should be attached to 2 hydrogens. It should be attached to 2 hydrogens. 2 hydrogens should be attached to it. Two hydrogens should be attached to it. So another 2 bonds are remaining. That means this carbon atom has to be identified as CH2. Along with that we have 2 bonds. This is secondary carbon atom. If I want tertiary carbon atom, then that carbon atom, tertiary carbon atom, is the one which is attached to only 1 hydrogen. It should be attached to only 1 hydrogen, and the 3 bonds may be different. So in that case this becomes CH and 3 bonds. And the quaternary is the one which is attached to 4 different groups, but these are not attached to hydrogen. It is not attached to hydrogens, not attached to any hydrogens, any H atom, then it is supposed to be called as quaternary carbon atom. Just to give an example here, just see, I have an example. Nomenclature you have already learnt about, so I'm not interested in nomenclature. So we'll start from left side. Nomenclature is to be given from right side. Why, you already know it. So if I number it, okay, I'll just start. Now just see this carbon atom. This carbon atom is attached to 3 hydrogens, therefore it is a primary carbon. This carbon atom is attached to 4 different atoms, and those atoms are not hydrogens, therefore this is a quaternary carbon atom. This is CH2. CH2 means secondary carbon atom. CH means tertiary carbon atom. CH2 means secondary carbon atom. CH3 means primary carbon atom. CH3 means primary carbon atom. CH3 means primary carbon. CH3 means primary carbon. So this is what is the identification of primary, secondary and tertiary and quaternary carbon atoms. And that's why in the previous session you see this is called, this compound isopentane is also called as secondary pentane. It is also called as secondary pentane because there is one secondary carbon atom. There is a secondary carbon atom there. This is secondary carbon atom. And here we have a tertiary carbon atom, and therefore they are also called as tertiary pentane. Okay, so this is regarding the classification of carbon atoms based on the number of hydrogen atoms attached to that carbon. Just to give a typical example here, there is one example. That example we shall see. Okay, so we have one example here. Okay, this is an example. Now what is this? Now if I want you, I have to just open this here. So if I start from here, you see this is carbon CH3. Now this carbon is having 3 bonds here, so the next atom is CH. Now CH is attached to 2 CH3s, so I need to write, I'm sorry, this is a mistake. Here it should be CH, C. It should be C, okay, it should be C here. So C. Okay, so C is attached to CH3, then one more bond is there, for means this carbon atom should link with this carbon atom only, so it is attached to CH2. And next is this CH2 has already formed 1 bond and 2 bonds, means 3 bonds are formed, so this should attach to the carbon, and this carbon is attached to 3 CH3s. So now I can identify exactly the type of carbon atom present in the compound very easily. This is CH3 means primary, this is quaternary, this is primary, CH3, CH2 means secondary, this is quaternary, this is primary. So this is all for today's class. So in today's class, just recall what I have done. I have told you the definition of hydrocarbons and some examples, then the role of hydrocarbon as a fuel, as a solvent, and then some manufacture of some important chemicals in our daily life. Then we have gone through the classification of hydrocarbons: saturated, unsaturated and aromatic. Then we have gone through some structural isomers mentioned in your government text, and we have just gone through the structural isomers of pentane, butane and pentane. And finally we have identified the type of the carbon atom in the given compound, whether it is primary, secondary, tertiary or quaternary. With this, we'll come to the end of this today's session. In tomorrow's session, we will begin with the the section alkanes. Thank you.